I had just returned home from a long assignment, 3 months working deep inside a federal compliance audit on a failing government contractor. As a federal inspector, my days were spent reviewing documents, conducting surprise evaluations, and ensuring no corner was cut when it came to safety, compliance, and accountability. I was used to people trying to hide things. I was used to authority. What I wasn't used to was coming home and being treated like a criminal on my own property. My driveway was empty the day I pulled in. My wife had parked her car in the garage, and mine rolled up on the driveway like it had for the past 6 years. Our home was in a quiet, neatly organized HOA community just outside Richmond, Virginia. Brick homes lined the block, manicured lawns sparkled in the morning sun, and American flags fluttered on mailboxes. It looked perfect. But I was about to find out just how quickly that perfection could rot. As I opened the mailbox, I noticed a white envelope with bold red letters, HOA compliance notice urgent. Now, let me be clear, I had seen compliance notices before. I'd issued hundreds of them in my career. But the tone of this letter, it was absurd. You are in violation of HOA parking regulations. Vehicles are not to be parked in driveways overnight for more than 3 consecutive days without board approval. Your vehicle has been recorded multiple times. Continued violation will result in daily fines of $75 and possible lien enforcement action. What? My vehicle? I was gone for 3 months. The car hadn't even been there. I double-checked the dates they listed. 3 nights, last week. That's when my wife parked the SUV in the driveway because she was doing a garage clean-out. Not only was it temporary, it was the same car they'd seen for 6 years. I crumpled the letter and tossed it on the kitchen counter. Did you see this? She asked my wife. She shrugged. Yeah, I called them about it. Left a voicemail. They didn't respond. I didn't want to bug you while you were working. That lit the fuse. I had worked across multiple federal agencies. I'd investigated fraud, whistleblower complaints, and deliberate safety violations. But here I was being penalized in my own home by people who didn't even return a phone call. I called the HOA number listed on the letter. No answer. I sent an email asking for the supposed photographic evidence and explanation. No reply. The next day, a second notice appeared, this one bolder, with a deadline and threats of legal action. I knew this wasn't about parking. It was about control. Someone on the board had taken it upon themselves to enforce power where it wasn't. There's to begin with. The following weekend, I attended the HOA board meeting, which took place in the community center down the street. I arrived 10 minutes early and sat in the back, observing. There were 5 board members seated behind a folding table, and one man, Greg, balding, loud, and perpetually smug, seemed to be the one calling the shots. When the meeting opened for community concerns, I stood up. My name is David Lane. I live on Maple Court. I received 2 compliance letters this week accusing me of illegal driveway use. I'd like to see the photographic evidence and ask where in the bylaws this violation exists. Greg didn't even look up. It's in the handbook. Vehicles left on driveways for multiple nights affect neighborhood aesthetics. We enforce it uniformly. I took a deep breath. Then I'd like to see those records and the date the policy was adopted. Because I've reviewed the HOA documents and nothing about overnight driveway parking qualifies for fines. He finally looked at me, more annoyed than anything else. Sir, if you continue to argue policy, you're welcome to address it in writing. I smiled. I already did. I work in federal regulatory enforcement. I'm trained to read legal policy and enforce compliance. And what you're doing, it's not just vague, it's unenforceable. There was a moment of silence. A few neighbors raised eyebrows. I could see some nodding in the back. Greg shifted uncomfortably. We'll review your complaint. You'll do more than review it, I said, pulling out a printed copy of the HOA's bylaws with highlighted sections. Because as of this moment, I'm filing a formal request for board transparency under State HOA Code Section 55.1-1815, which requires all actions and decisions to be documented, accessible, and publicly reviewable. I also request a full breakdown of fine revenue for the last fiscal year and who authorized enforcement without due process. You could hear a pin